Hello, we can start today. If you want to do the presentation, you can share your screen.
So I guess I'll go first. Are we ready to go?
Yes, you can start.
All right. So quick introduction on who I am. So my name is Ryan. I'm the senior in intelligence system engineering. I'm doing the accelerated master's program, hence why I'm in this class. I'm doing my concentration in undergrad in the bioengineering. So that's what most of my background is. I worked in Dr. Glazer's lab doing computational biology. Also did some work with Dr. Fangua with microneedle patches and nanoparticle applications. My interest right now is in microfluidics and lab on chips, which I'll talk about how that has to do with computer engineering. So, kind of the problem space is biomarkers. Biomarkers are very important for a lot of different applications, and so they're kind of defined characteristics of biological systems. So, a biomarker can be physiological, like a heart rate. It could be like blood glucose levels. It could be proteins. There's a variety of biomarkers you can use. And these biomarkers helps gives a glimpse of biological systems. And now, like I talked before, there's a lot of applications for analysis of biomarkers. But the problem with you know looking at biomarkers to describe biological systems is these systems are heterogeneous. So there's a lot of multiple biomarkers for analysis. Just for cancer, for example, there's so many different biomarkers you can look at. And currently, traditionally, the way testing is done is a patient has a blood or urine sample. It's given to an independent lab. They do their testing and then they send it back with information. And so that's why lab on a chip is kind of a core device and core idea is you can automate these multiple lab processes on one single compact chip. So there's a lot of benefits that come with that: cheaper, compact, higher throughput, short analysis times, and a lot of things like that. So I wanted to explore that field, but obviously I know with my lack of computer engineering background and the scope of this class, I can't go too in depth with that. But first, for those who don't know, here's an example of what a lab on a chip would look like. So this one can be used to detect cancer and infections. According to the researchers who fabricated this and designed this device, it can make they can be made for about roughly 4 or 5 cents, which is really cool. I mean, it's sort of be seen where that could be applied in real life, but it's a cool device nonetheless. So what do I want to do? So like I talked about before, a lot of the lab on chip devices, they have to have multiple sensing channels, and then it gets both signals. So you need some type of processor that can kind of handle all these signals at once and give some type of output signal. And so I wanted to focus on signal multiplexing to kind of take in these biomarkers. And for this, since I obviously don't have access to a biological lab right now, I can't do any crazy biomarker looking. I'm going to focus on heartbeats since that's an easy kind of test bench to do. So I'm going to propose to develop VHD code to take an input of a heartbeat, and then I'm going to output the heartbeats per minute and maybe some diagnostic tools with that. And so that's kind of my exit plan because I feel confident that I can do that. And from what I understand right now in the class, and we've gone over flip flops and other things that I think will help me achieve this. I will talk about other things I expect I'll be able to get, but my exit plan will be this simple solution. So logical high, 1 or 0. So 1 will be the heart that a heartbeat's happening. 0 will be that in between heartbeats. And so I plan on using a flip flop. I think I'm going to use a D type flip flop for this moment, but use it to kind of work as a clock. And then within 15 seconds, I'll lower that. I'm gonna lower that to nanoseconds. But for right now, 15 seconds, and then we count number of logical highs, which represents the heartbeats, and then you can calculate the beats per minute. And so that's maybe my simple solution. That's my first goal. And then what I want to do, time per minute using. I've never worked with an FPGA before, so I would like to try to implement this on FPGA. I think that would be an interesting thing to try out. And then, assuming I have time permitting, I will also want to explore time division multiplexing and frequency division multiplexing. Both of those are used a lot in lab on chip devices. I think that'd be cool to explore. I don't know enough about it to really say what I want to implement in terms of developing code for that. And so that's kind of why I'm calling it exploration because I want to figure out what I can do with it and how these actually work before I even choose another kind of like side project for that. So those are my goals for now. And in terms of schedule, I want to design a flip flop, and then I want to do the code for beats per minute, integrate into FPGA if I can get access to one, and then do the exploration of time division multiplexing. I know it's not one giant project, but it's kind of an exploration, and I hope that's okay.
So is that all?
Yep.
So can I say that so-called time division multiplexing is counting the heartbeat?
Yes, but I thought in my understanding of it, it was taking, a variety of different signals, combining them into one, and then extracting the signals out of that one signal again. Did I misunderstand that?
But you only mentioned the heartbeat counting, right?
Well, yeah, that's just for the initial thing. I'm gonna like when I do the exploration of time division multiplexing, I'm gonna use different biomarkers or use different test data to try these functions out. I just don't have access to a bunch of other I guess I could pull data from some online for.
Yeah, I mean, yes. This is my feeling. I mean, you have to be specific. I mean, the goal is too large for you. Maybe, counting the heartbeat is a very practical goal for you. So I believe if you can, have this heartbeat counting part, I believe this is good enough. Considering that you are in a one-person group,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
That's my exit plan. I think I'm confident doing that. But if I have time, I would like to explore these other things. Now, what I'm going to do in terms of exploring, I just want to explore them for the sake of learning.
Sure. Thank you. Questions? Or any other students want to do the presentation?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
I know on Monday you mentioned that we could have access to FPGA. Is that still true?
Yes.
All right, cool. Awesome.
Can I present?
Yes.
Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. And this is Kai. I'm going to present a matrix multiplication. This is I'm the only one in the group, and this is my first semester in intelligent system engineering. I don't have the background of computer engineering. This is the first time I touched this field, but I have some informatics background that can help me to get the knowledge faster and quick.
Are you an undergraduate?
No, I'm a graduate.
Okay.
why I choose the matrix multiplication? In a neural network, the calculation of data of input and weight to get the value of to the next layer. The operation can be written as a matrix multiplication, shown as in the picture. In the picture, we can see that the second layer of the node value is calculated from the input and the weight, and then they send the data to do the matrix multiplication with the second layer weight until to get the output to run the active function to find out the result of the output. And this is with more input and the weight, the calculation will be significantly larger and complex. This is the most demanding operation in the deep learning is a matrix multiplication, and we need to calculate the different output with the weight and the different layer of node value. Meanwhile, the weight stored in the matrix form implementing the unit focus on the matrix multiplication is very useful and efficient. In the form, we can see that in the form we can see that the weight are very large and the max are large, quite large to run the operation if it runs on the general purpose CPU or GPU. So Google has implemented a special tensor processing unit. It was designed special for machine learning, and it has different control unit, computation unit, data buffer. The heart of the tensor processing unit is the matrix multiplication unit. It can run, it contains 256 and 256 max. Runs faster operation can speed up the deep learning. This is a solution from the TPU from Google. They have a historic array mechanism and contain large number of ALUs, and the TPU can processing quite large number of multiplies and adds for 8-bit integers every cycle. In the end, the operation can be like 92 terabits per second in the matrix unit. That is powerful. While for me, I can do this complex hardware design. So I'm going to design a matrix operation for like much smaller size in a VHDL. My target right now is to implement a 2x2 matrix multiplier for unsigned integer 8-bit integer. For example, the 2x2 time product of 2x2 matrix. This is a formulation of the matrix operation. The input will be with a digit, and it will translate into a 8-bit digit, and then run the operation with a multiplier and add the two results together to present the result of the first matrix result, and then run another multiply function and run the addition of the two different result to as the second matrix result. In the end, I will test in the end, I will run the 2x2 matrix multiply function. The schedule for this for my project is so first to clarify the process of the operation, to find out how to run the multiplier, to design the multiplier, how to assign the input and the output. And second is to draw a diagram of the core unit. How can I to be more obvious view of the diagram, the processing steps. And the third step is to implement a VHDL code to run the matrix multiplication operation. Then to write a test bench. Final step is test different input of the value and to evaluate the operation, the time cost, and the accuracy of the operation. Furthermore, if I got more time, I will like to try to implement the with a signing ABDJ or unsigned ABDJ with different input value to make it sure that both of the input can run smoothly. The evaluation plan is to, in order to evaluate the implementation, the different input metrics can be used to perform the operation, and the time consuming accuracy will be tested. And that's my plan for this project.
First, do you plan to implement a multiplier?
Yes, in order to run the matrix multiplier, I need to implement a multiplier.
Okay, this is good because we didn't cover this in this lecture. I'm very glad that you actually included this plan to implement a multiplier.
Yeah.
So how many bits, I mean the bit width, do you plan your multiplier can support?
Right now, I want to try 4 bits at first because it's smaller and it can be to run the simple method to make sure that all the process is right. After I got the multiplier running, I can extend it to like a 8-bit to support my project, the matrix multiplication.
Good, good. I mean, this is a very practical project for one-person group. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other group want to do the presentation? So if no, I will also allocate a time slot on next Monday for the rest of the students here to do the presentation. And we will also cover some FPGA basics next Monday. Any question?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
On the assignment for project presentation 1, it says to upload a 10-minute video of us presenting.
No, you don't have to do that. If you done the presentation, and you are good to go.
All right, thank you.
Do not worry about the credit of this presentation because, you know, this is the first time in this semester we do the presentation. So many of you do not understand the requirement yet. So I'm very glad that you can ask me some questions during this presentation. So we may have a higher requirement on the updating presentations or the final presentation. But for the first one, you know, you can ask as many questions as you want. Any other question? So if no question, we can stop today. I think we only have one group who didn't present yet. We will do that on next Monday. And then we will also introduce some background on the FPGA design. Thank you very much.
Thank you.